Hey there everybody, I'm Drew, this is my beautiful wife Lexi, and today we're coming with another episode of Enlightened Living. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you go down, hit the subscribe button. If you already have subscribed, we appreciate it. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that next time we upload content, it comes straight to you. Today, our episode is going to be on the power of perception. Now, to me, this is huge. I base a lot of my life around trying to be positive in the way I look at things, right? Right. So today we're going to go over what perception is and
how you can change your perception of everyday things. The true definition of perception is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through our senses.
So for me, what helps me is thinking about it. You almost have to rewire your brain to any situation you may have. You can either look at it in a positive way or you can look at it in a negative way.
An individual who sees things in a positive way is going to notice positive attributes about themselves and others, and a negative self-concept is essentially the same way. You're going to notice negative attributes or characteristics about others and yourself. This can lead to nitpicking or pointing out negative in others just to basically make yourself feel better. What that comes down to is knowing yourself on more of a soul level, a deeper level. And once you find your purpose and your fulfillment, then you won't notice negativity in others as much, and you start to just focus on things that matter and focus on yourself. Greater understanding of self and who we are allows us to have a better perception about ourselves, others, and the whole entire world.
Going up.
Your perception on life is the reality of your life. If you think that life sucks, it probably will.
We each play an essential role in the entirety of the world. But when we change ourselves, and that's all we should be worried about, we shouldn't be judging anyone else and what they choose to do with their life. That one person focusing on themselves actually radiates out into the world and helps the world as a whole. So a lot of people don't even know that they could truly be making their life a negative reality, and that they control the power, and they have the power to control the reality all within them. It starts with their mind down to their perception. Is yours negative? Is it positive?
There were times in my life that I'm not so proud of, and I, pulled myself through. And I truly believe that it is the rough times that you have to go through in life that are going to define you and make you who you are. Because you could sit back and say, dang, I had an addiction problem, have a pity party and say, this happened to me or that happened to me. Or you could look on the bright side and say, hey, this is happening for a reason. If I just stay positive through this, then it's going to make it a lot easier for you. I don't want to be stressed out all the time. So if you're in a better mood and you have a better perception of things that are going on around you, then it's just going to be a lot easier.
Especially in times that are confusing or that you're unsure where you're actually headed. If something has shifted in your life that makes you feel uncomfortable, one thing I do know is that change is uncomfortable, and change usually comes when growth is coming afterwards. So growth has to provoke change in your life. So change is uncomfortable, and you are usually growing when change is happening. So that's one. Two is, I always say this affirmation to affirm that my life is in fact on the right track. I will say to myself, everything that's happening to me right now is for me and my highest good, and I am on my way to a divine place in my life, and I trust the journey that I am on. To validate that I am in fact knowing that I am where I need to be, even if it doesn't feel comfortable. As Drew said earlier, if you think that your life sucks, well, of course it probably will. Your thoughts, words, and actions are always going to attract things to you. What we talk about, what we think about, and how we act essentially is saying out into the universe and telling God that this is what we want because this is how we're acting, this is what we're saying, and this is what we're thinking. Seeing everything from a negative viewpoint, it doesn't even matter what the external view of your true reality is. You are actually controlling how you are seeing things. You can choose the reality that you live in. You can in fact change your whole entire life, your whole entire story, and your future steps that you're taking just by changing your perception. Just by shifting it, you could drastically see improvement in a short amount of time. Or you could be in a restaurant and you could feel like everybody was screaming, or you could go outside and you can smell the trash, start walking and feel sweat dripping down your face. When you start seeing things out of a better perception, you go to the same restaurant and hear the same kids and you notice their laughter and their happiness. You go outside in the same space that the trash can is and you notice the smell of the flowers that are blooming a couple steps forward.
Those guys working hard.
Or the sweat that was dripping down your face from the sun is now you feel the warmth and the love and the light from the sun and know that it is filling you up with vitamin D. One major key point is anytime a negative thought, a negative action, negative words come from you, immediately counteract it with a positive. Notice those negative things, become aware of it, take ownership of it, and then immediately shift it. A lot of times people spend way more time thinking negative than what they even thought until you try to counteract it with a positive.
Guys, the power of perception is huge. Like, I don't think you understand, like, you hold the power.
Or the key.
It's super important, guys. Like, you hold the power of perception or the key in your hands. How you view things is completely up to you. You can decide, hey, I'm going to look on the bright side of this, or hey, I'm just going to be negative about this. You can't blame someone else for your own thoughts. You're in control. The morning time is an important time to just get your mind going because the rest of your day is ahead. So if you start your day with positive thoughts, and ending, you want to end your day on a good note. I like to say that tomorrow's a new day.
Hey, this is a little bit before I need to get up. Maybe I can make breakfast. I can make sure everything is done. I'll have a little bit extra time. I can maybe wake the kids up, spend some time with the wife, watch the news, check the weather, whatever you decide to do. I mean, you could, I'm just giving you some examples. I'm not saying I do all that all the time, but
one day at a time, we're all trying to be better people. And like I said, that's why we put this content out. I think sometimes we just forget how powerful we are as individuals. The responsibilities of you lie in your hands, and how you view things is intentionally how you will react to a situation.
Is the life that you're creating right now the life that you want? The tool for transforming your life as you know it now into something beautiful lies in the power of your perception and making it a positive perception. Start taking the power back that you hold. Take the key back that you have and open up this beautiful world that's all in the power of your perception. Just a small shift to change your perception from positive to negative will make huge results.
Life is tough enough as it is, and things happen that are out of your control, and they may not be the best situation. So don't let these negative things be a scapegoat to your thoughts becoming negative, essentially taking away from your happiness. Came across this study that was done. They had an average person that they pulled out of the crowd to shoot 10 baskets. Out of those 10 baskets, this person only made one, right? So then they put a blindfold on this person, let them shoot 10 times. Every time they missed it, but on 6 out of the 10 shots, they acted like they made it. So they're like hyped. They're like,
yeah, I just made this basket.
They take the blindfold off. She shoots 10 shots again. And on that time made 4 out of 10 shots. That when she had the blindfold on, she thought she was making the baskets, which gave her the confidence to do better. And in general, that's the same thing in life. Like,
knowing that you can, whether you truly believe it or not, the crowd was carrying on as if this person had made the basket, right? This confidence up that they didn't even realize they had, and built them up to believing that they were capable of it. That shows the power of our mind, is that we don't even realize our capability because we create these self-limiting beliefs beliefs, and we actually limit ourselves from what we are truly capable of. It was all mental. Everything that we do is very mental, down to how we perceive things. Sometimes the perception sucks. We're not gonna lie and say that it's not a crappy feeling when you lose your job, when your spouse cheats on you, or your kid's school calls and tells you that they've been terrible. It's okay to take it as it is and understand that it is not the best feeling in the world. You can't let your perception of one situation taint the entirety of the rest of your day, the rest of your week, or even the rest of your year or life.
Are you willing to recognize and accept the power that your perception holds on the world and how you view it? You need to select or pick your battles. There's going to be things that happen in your life that are just out of your control. You may be stressing about it and have a negative perception on that occurrence, when it could be something that ends up being positive later down the road.
Kind of like the kids have selective hearing. They choose to hear what they want and what will benefit them at that time. So you want to have a selective perception and what you choose to give your energy to, and to really not shift any kind of negativity, any kind of perspective that may not be serving you, is really just faulting yourself and the value of the life that you're living.
There's some quotes out there that you may have heard, such as, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Don't take a situation and blow it up to make it bigger than it actually was.
Or give it more energy than what it deserves.
Right, which would be kind of negative, and feeding that when you could just look at the positive side and say, hey, it is what it is. Don't get stuck on things that have happened in the past or a certain outcome. There's guys that come to work for me and they are just negative all the time. Their perception on things is just way out in left field. You may see them a year later down the road and they're still in the same boat because they didn't change their view on life or how they handle situations. You can't expect change unless you're willing to change yourself. And you create self-limiting beliefs that almost hinder your ability based on your negative perception. Know the role you play. We're just challenging you to look at situations, instead of thinking negative about that situation, to think positive. See how much something simple, such as thinking in a better way, can help
Changing your perception,
which will also change your life.
You might be surprised how radically your life can change just by changing the way you perceive things.
Start it today, tonight, tomorrow, but don't wait too long.
Small change in perspective can make a huge difference in your entire life and the way that things actually start to come and attract to you.
Make sure to change a negative into a positive.
Why did you just flip them off?
Just connecting dots.
Sorry, Mom.
If you guys are still with us, we appreciate it, and thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hasta
la vista,
Hasta
baby.
la vista, baby. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.